Hello fellow gamers, welcome to my channel. I am Crash, and today I'm going to talk about analyzing our MMR grinding progress on a macro scale. The idea here is to take a step back and look at our progress from far away, taking inspiration from macro scale analysis such as some poker mathematic principles. Now I know they might sound totally unrelated, but we'll get to that later. Out of the big pool of people who enjoy playing video games, wow, that's a mouthful. Anyway, a large subgroup of gamers have been blessed to try out Dota and stick with it. Out of those, a great many are mentally strong enough to play public matches with other people, and well, a few only stick with bot matches to keep their sanity, which is a shame. For them, obviously. And out of the people who play public matches, a select few are competitive enough to try playing ranked. And out of those, a masochistic crazy bunch play ranked games consistently to try and raise their MMR up, prove their skill to themselves and everybody else. Now at this point we are committed enough to Dota to pledge to play it consistently, sometimes exclusively, and always try to play at the highest level. That means saying no to being a casual scrub and actually trying to have fun while playing. Saying no to silly meme builds, saying no to randoming every game, basically saying no to anything remotely casual. Of course, when putting all this effort into a game, we demand results, and we get results for a while. Everything is great until we hit a wall and our MMR keeps fluctuating sporadically while we try our best to keep playing at the same high skill level that we've been doing up until now. The slump itself doesn't hurt much, or at least we pretend it doesn't. What truly hurts is that we cannot seem to figure out what is going so horribly wrong. If we just knew that, we could immediately fix the issue and keep climbing. Sadly, nothing good in life comes easy, right? But more on that later. Dota is a game of massive variance. Not even considering the gameplay and how the game unfolds from when the horn is blown. There are factors such as the draft, the players controlling the heroes, the way people choose to communicate with each other, the occasional European blaming Russians. Say no to military. Each play a significant role on how the match unfolds. Some of these are to some degree controllable by keeping it PMA and having a large hero pool to always have a hero that fits the game well, and always playing when we're not distracted, and a lot of other things. We can reduce the negative effect we ourselves can add to the game. But other than that, how other people will act and perform is to a large extent out of our control, and when something is out of our control, it's frustrating. When it's laid out in front of us that a large portion of what decides a single game's outcome is largely out of our control, we feel helpless. But that doesn't need to be the case. We do not need to be that miserable player looking at a match's ending screen and furiously trying to report that one guy with reports we ran out of months ago. Thanks, Valve. We can cope with losses in much easier ways. Other people in other games deal with high variance in many different instances and come out on top. How do they do it though? That's where poker comes in. Poker is a perfect example to draw inspiration from. If you're familiar with a game such as No Limit Hold'em, you know it can play out very differently in each hand. Any new card reveal can change the state of the game drastically and can win or lose you huge sums of money. Drawing desired cards is all admittedly based on luck and there's no way around that. A player can feel helpless trying to win and come out on top in a session of poker. But they deal with it well, the professional ones at least, keep themselves sane and in profit. They do this by expanding their frame of thought over and beyond a single hand, even tens or hundreds of hands. They only step back and look at their results from far away. They look at results of thousands of hands played, and then they make decisions that will help them in the long run, not in a single hand. The concept of outs, pot odds, implied odds, discounted odds, and many other terms used in poker mathematics are utilized to figure out if making a play is profitable in the long run, while most likely losing you money in short term. They can power through losses because they step back and look at things from a macro perspective. There may be plays that have a 5% chance of succeeding, but if the profit of the play is more than 20 times the money you're investing, that play is profitable in the long run and they make it without feeling bad about the likely loss of the particular hand. In fact, they make it without even flinching. I don't want to go deeper into the realm of poker, I just want you to get the idea of how people deal with high variance and get their results back under their control. They make it understandable and they make sense of it all. We can take something from this and apply it to Dota. If there are actions we can take to increase our chance of winning by just 1%, in 100 games that'll turn into a guaranteed extra game won. The question that pops up here is, how big a difference does it make? Well, let's figure it out from a basic example. If we have a 60% win rate and we're trying to climb 500 MMR to a certain milestone, we need roughly 100 games to do so. If we manage to add 2% more to our win rate by untilting our teammates, instead of 500 MMR in 100 games, we can get 600 MMR. In our particular example, simply boosting our win rate by 2% turned into 1 MMR per game. That also means 1 less MMR lost per lost game. That's how math works. Insignificant MMR gain per game, but significant in the long run. It's absolutely true that there are a lot of things we can do in a single game to directly skew the odds in our favor. Doing the right rotations, having the right coordination, abusing very strong timings, and utilizing good opportunities, hitting that sweet 17% spot with our patches, or just simply outplaying our opponents can have a massive impact on our odds of winning a single game of Dota. These are all factors that form our gameplay and make us the player that we are in the game of Dota. But there are also a lot of other factors that can transcend the bounds of a single game of Dota. How we affect our team's performance, how difficult it is to communicate with us in a game, how consistently we draft suitable heroes for a game, how conforming we are to the needs of the team over our own preference and comfort, how we tilt the enemies with well-timed question marks. These are all things that will not have a big impact on a single game, but when we put 100 games together, it starts to be a significant factor in our win rate. For example, we can just mute everybody and proceed to play 1, 2, or even 10 games of Dota and feel like it hasn't affected the game as much. But when it turns into 100 or more games, there will surely be a lot of instances where if we could communicate with our team effectively, a couple of fights could have been turned around, a couple of ganks could have been avoided, a couple more towers would have been taken, and as a result, a couple more games could have been won. This concept is hard to grasp for someone who keeps opening their recent matches page and looking at the win streak or the absence of it and deciding if they've been doing well or not. When we limit ourselves only to a certain number of matches and analyze our performance based on that, we are automatically disregarding factors that can show their effects in a larger sample scale. If we keep doing this over and over, we keep missing the little things that could benefit us, and we're left with a result that we are not satisfied with, while being completely oblivious as to why we are not doing better. We certainly feel like we did better, but what we feel doesn't reflect in our MMR. I guess I don't need to keep repeating my point, you get what I mean. I don't mean to imply issues that people bring up like very high MMR variance in matchmaking or boosted accounts or smurfs or everything else Reddit has been bitching about. Doesn't matter. They certainly tank the quality of the games, but taking things into perspective can also help cope with these issues better. Bottom line is, if we want to truly do our absolute best in becoming better at Dota, we need to take a step back from time to time, look at a large sample of games and figure out if we've been doing it right, or how we can do it even better. There are things that can ease our climb and will not show up in a game-to-game basis. Let's not forget about them. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked what you saw, like and share this video and subscribe if you're looking forward to more content. And happy climbing! I know it's not happy, it's miserable, but I'd be a hypocrite if I said that after all the ranting, wouldn't I?